a special lens, a budget lens, but it's special. It's special, and this is why I want to share with you my first impressions about this lens, about this focal lens, and why you should buy it if you have a full-frame Sony camera. It's crazy. I'm very excited about this lens. I've just received it, and this is why I want to share with you my first impressions, because I'm very excited about this lens. So let's talk about this now. Hi there and welcome to my channel. My name is Tudor Matescu, and in this video I want to share with you my experience after receiving this lens. I've tested it in my studio, I've tested it for a short night street photography walk, I've tested it for video, I tested it indoors, and I've done some macro shots with it, and I've used it on my Sony A7c because I was very curious how this lens will perform, because the price is crazy good, the lens is crazy small, it's looking extremely nice, fun, and really loving the design, really loving the build quality. And I've said, wow, I'm so pumped, and this is why I want to share with you my thoughts about this lens, how I've done with other lenses. But what it's special here is that this lens, it's an affordable lens, not an expensive lens. Of course, an expensive lens can pump me up, but this is a bargain, brand new, it's a bargain, it has a bargain price. So it has a 20mm field of view on a full frame. This field of view, it's great. One of my lenses, when I've entered the full frame system, it was a Zeiss 20mm old vintage lens, and I was loving it for that field of view, but also I was loving it for the fact that I was able to get really close and get some nice macro shots, unique shots. So this is why you want a 20mm field of view on your full frame camera. The image, it is so unique, and also it's very versatile for photography but also for videography. So this lens, it's a modern lens, it's not Sony 20mm f1.8 lens, that it's a bigger lens and it's a more expensive lens, but this is a very light lens made by Viltrox, and it has an f2.8 aperture. So a great lens, even if it's an f2.8 aperture for filming, for taking videos, and for low light photography. I will show you that I was able to do street night photography with this lens. So the f2.8 is sufficient for letting enough light for low light situations. Of course, you must use the light. But let's talk about the lens and the build quality of this lens. This lens, it's made from plastic, but it's very good quality. I was afraid that the plastic was a cheap plastic, but it's not like that. I have some cheap alternatives from Samyang, a plastic lens. I really don't like that plastic. No, this is another story. So good quality plastic, and the cherry on top, the mount is made from metal. So good metal build, and here we have an USB-C, so you can upgrade the firmware. Now this lens also comes with a lens hood and a pouch and the lens cap, but I'm really liking this lens hood. It's small, it has a small footprint, and I will tell you immediately why I'm liking this, and also it's looking great. So it's not making from your Sony A7c camera a boring camera. No, it's looking great, it's looking stylish, it's giving me the mojo. I want to pick it up and to shoot it, because you'll find out why. The image quality, it's great, and the AF, let's see how it is. So I've tested this lens in night street photography. The AF-C worked great, the AF-S worked great, the manual focusing worked great, and I will tell you immediately about the minimum focus distance. But also the IAF in video, I've tested it here, it's working great on Sony A7c, but also on Sony A6400, and I will tell you immediately why would you want to buy this lens for an APS-C Sony camera. Till now all is looking great, so great AF, great experience using IAF, AFC tracking, all it's great. But how is the image quality? Well, the image quality is crazy good. It's very good. Very good for portraits. It's amazing. The portraits are popping even if you have here a 20mm ultra wide lens, because this is an ultra wide lens, prime lens. At f2.8 the portraits are sharp and they are popping. You have enough details. I'm really liking it. It has a little CD pop to it. It's separating the subject from the background very well, and I will tell you immediately why would you want this. So at f2.8 very usable for portraits, for documentary shots, but also for product photography where you want more depth of field around your product. So you can do some unique shots with this lens, also wedding unique shots. And again, have in mind the price, have in mind the crazy price for this lens. So image quality at f2.8, great. It has some barrel distortion, but it's very easily corrected in Lightroom +5, +6, depending on how you will bend the camera, because again this is an ultra wide lens and also it matters how you will compose your image. But the image quality very good till now. I need to test it more. Also regarding lens flare, I feel I'm not seeing any important problems regarding lens flare, but for other tidbits I need to test it more and I will do a proper review. But again, for the price, the image quality, it is top-notch image quality. So great AF, top-notch image quality, compact, good looking and light. It has around 158 grams and also it costs under $160. This kind of a lens that it's very versatile on a full frame body. Why it's versatile? Well, let's see why, and why this lens is more versatile than the other Sony lens. For someone who is passionate about photography, for someone who doesn't want to spend his hard-earned cash on lenses. Let's see if this lens is replacing an equivalent lens. For me, for myself, that I'm doing YouTube videos, that I'm doing street photography, that I'm doing documentary shots, that I'm doing landscape photography, I am feeling that yes, this lens is replacing the Sony 20mm f1.8. I don't need that f1.8 aperture in my videos, and I don't need a bigger lens. I'm not doing wedding photography, I'm not doing event photography, I don't need that aperture. On a full frame body, an f2.8 aperture is enough. So light, very light in hand. Look how light it is. 20mm, f2.8 on a full frame. What does this mean in the end? And by the way, I have a special newsletter dedicated to the passionate photographer. So if you want to learn more about photography tips, tricks and all kinds of useful information for free, please subscribe to my newsletter, link in the comments and description. This means you will be able to take any documentary shot, and especially documentary shots in very tight spaces. And the cherry on top. This is the cherry on top regarding image quality, ergonomics of this lens, because this is it. This is what you want from an ultra-wide lens, to get that amazing angle. Because an ultra-wide lens, it's about amazing angles. Down angles, up angles, and up-close angles. So the cherry on top is the minimum focus distance. The minimum to focus distance is 0.19 meters. So 19 centimeters. This is crazy. This is crazy. It's amazing. You can get very close to your subject. This means, again, great in video, great in photography, for special angles, for special shots, for unique shots. So great bokeh, great subject to background separation, great for street photography, great for videography. This lens is great for someone who doesn't want to break the bank, for someone who wants a light lens. Sony A7c, it's very light with this lens. It's very easy for me to take it and to vlog like this, very light package, even with a laser case. So really loving it for what it is. And now let me share with you a little my experience with this lens on Sony A6400. Oh, look at this lens on Sony A6400. Look how easy and light is this package. and wow. So wow. I know Sony has a 20mm, from what I know, pancake lens, but if you have a Sony full frame and a Sony APS-C, why buy two lenses? The AF on Sony A6400, it's working great. The subject is popping. I've done with this lens some indoors tests here in my studio, and I'm separated from the background. Very interesting. So on Sony A6400 also it's rendering great and beautiful images, and you'll have a 30mm equivalent lens, a very versatile field of view, more versatile than 28mm if you like to have a tighter field of view for street photography. f2.8, fast AF, very light. So in conclusion, a lens that you really need to have it if you don't have a 20mm lens. But also if you have the 20mm f1.8 lens from Sony, and if you want to save on weight, and probably why not replace it if you don't need, and if you don't do wedding photography, even photography, and if you don't need that f1.8 aperture, why not use this lens? The image quality again, very good for the price, but let's not take into consideration the price. Even if this lens was more expensive than this, I feel the image quality is very good. The portraits, how I've said, are popping. The AF in video and IAF, it's very good. In photography, the AF, it's very good. I wasn't able to see any problems regarding lens flare and so on. I will use more this lens, and I will come back with a more long-term review about this lens after I will make many pictures and some videos with this lens, and I will share with you my final thoughts about this lens. But for the moment, I'm very excited, and I'm really glad that I was able to receive this lens. If I would not have received this lens, I would have bought it myself. The 20mm field of view, it is great. The build quality of this lens, it is great. The f2.8, amazing. The minimum to focus distance, 19 centimeters, crazy good. Great AF, great IAF in video, great for vlogging because it is light, and I'm liking small light lenses. And the lens bayonet, it's made from metal. What more could you want for such a great price? So if you are a Sony user and you want a 20mm field of view lens, and I've told you why would you want it, go and get this lens. You will totally not regret it for the price. You can't regret this lens. You will not go wrong. You will totally not go wrong with this lens. Now please check my affiliate links from the comments and description. Check my newsletter for more tips and tricks regarding photography. And also please check my next video. Click here right now.